The reduction of violence, we're paying for it. I don't know, and this is with 140,000 military in there, 180,000, that makes that's 320,000 Americans in there. We pay off for them not shooting at us. Can we pay them so they won't shoot at themselves? Essentially, that's really what it is. Who gets what of the resources of the country? And who determines that? Is it us that determines it, or is it they who determine it? Can they determine it while we're there? I would say no. I'd say that as long as the U.S. is there, they won't make those decisions because enough of them are getting paid by us to keep that neighborhood quiet, don't shoot at us. Keep this one quiet, don't shoot at us. The oil revenues, I mean, they're building up fast. They've got, I think the Congress said, they've got $87 million they're holding on to, and we're forking out the money to reconstruct their country. They ought to be paying for it. And I think the Iraqis are just sitting back going, well, you're the ones that came in, you tore up a heck of a lot of it. We have less electricity than we had during Saddam Hussein's regime. We've got less water, we've got less sewage, we've got, you know, you guys are the ones that are, your presence here is the thing that's caused all of this. I honestly believe the only way that, I mean, ultimately it's a political solution. It's whether it's now or whether it's later. It probably won't be clean, it won't be without violence, but as long as we're there, the ultimate solution that the Iraqis pick for themselves, and I vote that they ought to have a little say in their own country. And of course, you know, people say, well, you know, how about the other people in the region? Geez, you know, what about the Iranians? What are they going to do? What about the Syrians? Well, the Syrians have taken in 2 million Iraqis. The Jordanians, 1 in 6 people that live in Jordan are Iraqis now. Thousands, tens of thousands of Iraqis have gone to Iran. The current government, the Bush-Maliki government, is supported by whom? Iran. All the senior leaders of the current government of Iraq were in exile in Iran. They lived in Tehran to flee Saddam Hussein's regime. So they've already got the ties to Iran. I mean, you talk about a barrel of worms that we're right in the middle of. And I would say our continued presence there is doing nothing but stalling the process that will take place ultimately. That there will be some deals cut, big deals cut about who gets what. And of course, as always, the poor people of the country will be the ones left out. If you look right now in Afghanistan, I mean, what an interesting situation it is there. Here, the coalition of the willing, the NATO forces, seem to be bucking the United States of America. We have the British military commander and the British ambassador both saying there's no military solution. Yeah, read the internet. The last 3 days, it's been nothing but the Brits essentially telling George Bush and crew, you got it wrong. You know, the Hamid Karzai for months has been saying, we have to have a political solution. I want to have talks with the Taliban about what happens. But the Taliban wouldn't talk to him because they seem to be, I wouldn't say winning, but they are certainly putting pressure on the 70,000 NATO forces and U.S. forces that are in the country now. They are mounting major operations against them. So they're not about to, are you kidding, negotiate while we're on the move? So Hamid Karzai did a really interesting thing. He called up one of the big leaders in the Islamic faith, the Wahhabi tradition side of it, the king of Saudi Arabia, called him up and said, you got to help. You're funding so much of this anyway, one side or another. You know, help. We need help with, we want to sit down with the Taliban. And apparently between September 24th and September 27th, there were major talks that were held in Saudi Arabia between senior Taliban and senior administration officials, Karzai administration officials. Guess who they forgot to tell they were doing? The Bush administration now expresses great surprise that these talks were taking place. The British government apparently knew about them. I mean, read of the last 3 days has been fascinating of the stuff that's coming out. So you have the government of Afghanistan that's saying, are we going to fight till the last Afghan's dead? Or shall we call a halt to this? Let's broker a deal. And I certainly hope it's not the Taliban that, you know, and their traditions of brutality toward women, of no education for women, no education for guys unless you go into these very conservative madrasas. I hope that's not what happens. But ultimately, if the Afghans want to come together and make a solution, who are we to say, oh, now wait a minute, we've been in there 7.5 years and we've still got a little stuff to do in your neighborhood, this thing called Al-Qaeda. You know, 7.5 years later, boy, we have really made great inroads on that one, haven't we? You know, ultimately, 10 to 1, I'll wager that if Osama bin Laden is ever found, is ever captured, it will be through old law enforcement techniques, international law enforcement, that slowly but surely somebody kind of gets in there and kind of gets the trust of some of the people in the tribal regions. And you would think after 7.5 years, surely that would have happened. But I think it's going to be that way. It's not going to be that somebody, that we're going to find him and a predator is going to take him out. It's going to be through old law enforcement methods. And if you look at who's been prosecuted so far in the war on terror, or who has been, how Al-Qaeda operatives have been found, and how many have been brought to justice, so to speak, it's through law enforcement. We can claim, well, we killed them, we killed them, we bombed them, but how many people, how many innocent people were also killed in that? And what is the legacy? Is there a reason why the Taliban's able to recruit more and more Afghans that go to Pakistan to get that training to go back because their village was bombed. Their village was having that wedding party and the U.S. saw it. They saw a group of people and they went in with their fighters or their predators and they put a missile right in the middle of all of those insurgents and they turned out to be kids, or they turned out to be the wedding party. When you have the Secretary of Defense that has to go to Afghanistan and apologize to the president of the country because, oops, our intelligence was faulty again, I'm sorry, we killed those 60 people. So there's a reason why the Taliban is resurging, and it has to do with the presence of us. So I think we've got a whole lot of soul searching, I think, to do for ourselves too. What is our national psyche? Are we the warmongers? Do we need war to win? And you know, what is winning too? Or should we be looking toward nonviolent approaches to things? Maybe words, not bullets, rather than killing 600,000 to 1.2 million Iraqis for whatever it was the administration went in for. So I think these are some of the things that we have to decide ultimately for our nation. I would say right now we are a nation of warmongers. I think our citizenry are warmongers, and we've got a long educational process with our own citizens to move us from being warmongers to being people of peace. Thank you.